Hi, my name is Amethyst Trelevin and this is Psychic Ogham reading 780 and it's for Leanne. Okay, so Leanne, you asked me a number of questions primarily around relationships, your future with job, money and so on and so forth. So let's have a look at all of that in relationship to this reading. We start off your reading up here with this stave here, and this is Rowan or Lewis, and this is very much about protection, self-protection primarily. This themes the whole of your reading. You tend to be cautious, you tend to think about decisions before you make them. You're not per se a risk taker, although you will take a risk, but only where it's informed. This is very much about continuing that inherent ability that you have for self-protection in the next year or so, but we'll pick up a little bit more of that as we go through. These three staves here are about the past. This is what's currently happening for you, and these ones are about the future. So I'll just spend a little bit of time on these ones here, and then we'll spend the majority of our time here in the future. This stave here is willow or sail, and this is lovely. This themes your past staves here. This is about trusting your instincts. Now you don't always do that because this here, because of Rowan here, which says I need to be a little bit clear thinking, I need to be a little bit logical. But in the last year in particular, you've let go. You've not been as, for the want of a better phrase, tight as you have been. I don't mean that financially, I mean in terms of your own self-protection. You've let your guard down just a little bit in the last year, and you have allowed yourself, I think you mentioned that you had spent a little bit more in the last year. That's evidence of that ability to say, oh, what the heck, let's just grow a little bit more and take a little bit more risks than we have done in the past. Let's have a look at these two here. This one is vine or muin. This is very much about reaping what you sow. You are a firm believer in nothing comes without hard work. You know you're a goal setter. You tend to set lots of goals financially, in terms of your job, where you want to go. You've been ambitious in the past, but you've been and you continue to be ambitious, but you do so realistically and with some goals in mind. So muin is very much about you knowing that things just don't fall in your lap. You have to work for them. And this one over the top is about that working for them. This is oak. You are dependable. You really need security. For you, that's really important financially, to be secure in your home, to be secure in your emotional life. You give to other people, particularly to your loved ones, your family. You give of yourself a great deal. You don't always, though, care, in the last year in particular, you haven't always cared about your own health and well-being as much as you could have done. You tend to work long hours and dedicate yourselves to the needs of other people, particularly at work, without always thinking about what the ramifications of that are on your own emotional and physical health. Let's go to this stave here now, which represents what's currently happening for you, and this is aspen. Now, this is interesting that this should sit here. This is a little bit about fear and doubt. For you, fear and doubt, because you're so goal driven, and because you like to see things logically laid out before you, But over the last year, you've been shifting slightly away from that need for black and white, for security, for known outcomes. You've been shifting away from that a little bit. So at the moment, there's a little bit of transitional change happening in the way that you approach life. And whilst you are occasionally excited by those risks, you're also afraid of those risks as well. But let's pick up here and do most of our talking around this part here. These 4 staves represent the future year or so for you, and we start off with those ones. This themes your year ahead, and this is about ivy or gorse. Now, ivy is very much about tenacity, about hanging on. Ivy is a plant that grows anywhere. You can survive anywhere. You are strong-willed, you are capable, you are resourceful, you are intelligent. You know what you want and you tend to go out and get it. However, sometimes underneath that smile that you put on to the world is a little bit of sadness. If you think about ivy, the way that grows, all of the leaves that face the sun that are out on the surface tend to be beautifully green, they're lush. But if you pull those leaves back and look underneath, sometimes they're a little bit bare and a little bit brown. So for you, this coming year is a little bit about grinning and bearing the changes, continuing to be your normal, calm, productive, predictable self, but underneath there's sometimes a little bit feeling of want, and we'll summarize all this as we go and as we have read through these. Now, underneath this is gorse or on, and on top here is alder or fern. Now, gorse, we'll talk about this one first. This is very much about seeking immediate gratification. It's almost about sexuality. And you asked me about relationships. Now, this says that there are relationships for you. There's one in particular that has the potential for you in the next 12 months, but it's not a long-term relationship. It's a fun relationship. Now, that's not to say that you discount that immediately. When you meet this particular person, you tend to often look at a potential partner with what is their potential for me as a long-term partner. This person will come into your life and they are not a potential long-term partner, but they are someone that you're going to have a lot of fun with. So this time I want you to just enjoy the fun. I just want you to experience the relationship, knowing that it's not going to be long-term and deep and meaningful and everything that you ultimately want, but it will give you experiences of fun and happiness and laughter, of variety, and for you that's really important. Remember, we talked about the shift that you're going through at the moment from that logical, security-based self that you have been in the past into perhaps someone who just takes a little more risks and who just enjoys themselves just for the sake of enjoying themselves. This is what this is all about. So this person that's coming into your life, I keep hearing the word John. It certainly begins with J, and you will want more with this person, but it's just not going to happen, I'm afraid, in terms of long term. But enjoy the relationship that does happen with this person nonetheless. Lots of fun there. I keep seeing you going out on water, on a boat, particularly with this person. There's lots and lots of laughter. There's lots and lots of good times together. There may even be a physical relationship. There is a physical relationship, I'm being told, that comes through with that. Just enjoy it. Just experience it and let it be. Over the top of that is older, or fiam. Now, this is often about advice, and it sits over the top of this. So your logical self is going to be saying, well, this relationship, I want more, but he's not going to give me more, and therefore I'll kick it out. So your logical self is trying to give you some advice to say, don't waste your time on this person. It's not wasted time. This is actually really good experiences that you can have. So, so take note that while your head might be saying, don't waste your time, your heart actually needs to have a really good time. So allow that to occur. Underneath here we have ash or newen. And ash is very much about transformation. It's about changes going on around you, not necessarily the continuance of changes that you've begun to make within yourself, although that will continue to happen. What does that mean? Yes, it does mean there are changes coming in your job in the next 12 months. I don't see a change of address or an interstate change for you, but I do see changes in your job. There's no demotion. I don't see a promotion. I need to be careful what I say here, because it is a change of job. In other words, it's going sideways, but there are additional responsibilities given to you. And it does mean slightly more money for you, but it's not actually a promotion. So you're not necessarily going up in the hierarchy of the company that you work for, but you will be given more responsibility, you will be given more respect, and the job additions to the role additions to your current responsibility are something that you will enjoy, that will be stimulating for you, because you're really intelligent. You love to have new things to stimulate you, and this will certainly be along those lines. So, what do we have for you in the future? In terms of money, money continues to be a fairly stable environment for you, although there will be a little bit more coming into your budget from about Christmas time onwards. It might be January, possibly February onwards. There will be a slightly higher income for you. I do encourage you not to go ballistic with increased funds, partially because you need to continue to feed that part of you that needs stability and security and financial peace of mind. So don't go overboard with the money. And that means no buying a new house this year, no buying a new car. You were thinking about upgrading your vehicle. There's a big expense that you were thinking about. I'm advising you not to do that in this current year. In terms of relationships, I think we've talked about that. Please enjoy that relationship that's coming along this year, but don't invest so much of your emotionality into that you get hurt when it doesn't last a long time, but enjoy it while it's there. There is a longer term relationship coming for you, but it's not inside the next year. It's another year on after that. So just enjoy this year ahead and know that it's a time for you to grow from that logical, secure based protection kind of platform that you were living on before into something that's just a little more loose, just a little more prepared to accept and embrace new experiences. You also asked me a little bit about your boys, and I don't like to extend readings into other people because it means that I need to go from your energy through into theirs. But I do sense peace for both of the boys in the next 2 years, in the next year rather, in terms of their development going forward. I keep sensing that, I keep being told one university with one will be challenging, is challenging. But I don't see anything negative coming out for your boys. Now, in terms of your Celtic birth tree. It is in fact Alder or Fen, which is about giving advice. It's about receiving advice within a reading. Your role, I don't know what your job role is, but I suggest it's something to do with management, and you give advice of some description to people. Alder is very much a brave, energetic tree. It's determined and is practical. And in Celtic times, it was actually a crime to cut down an alder tree because it was so strong and it didn't rot in the weather. So can you see the relationship here between the oak, that strong past that you have, that need to give of yourself and be the pillar of strength? That's what alder is all about. It was actually used to make bridges and buildings because it was such a strong tree. People with alder as their birth tree tend to do really well, particularly in work. You tend to be affectionate with people that you trust, and older people are really great managers as well. So that's quite interesting for you. Now, your Druid Animal Oracle card was Stag, and interestingly, Stag or Dam is has a relationship with both oak and with alder as well, because the stag is such a mighty, ancient, druidic animal father of the forest. He's often represented by Cernunnos, by the horns as Cernunnos, the horned god, again the father of the forest. He has a sense of dignity and a great pervading sense of peace as well, knowing that the decisions that you make will be appropriate decisions, trusting in those decisions. So, excuse me, so when chaos reigns at work, it is the stag that comes to the fore and provides you with the strength and the peace and the tranquility to continue. He's also a messenger from the other world, and he brings you messages of new experiences and new beginnings. So here we're talking about you taking that risk with that relationship that, although you want to be a permanent long-term relationship, will not be. So this is that opportunity to experience new experiences just for the sake of experience, and rather than there having to be an outcome to them. He's also really fierce and he's protective. You see the protection coming through with Lewis here. But he's very mature and he's very calm and he's very peaceful. So he's that dignified person whose shoulders stand tall, rational. So I encourage you to call on the stag if in the coming year you feel unable to grab the tasks that are given to you, particularly here with that addition to the role that you will be offered around December time. Enjoy it and have a great time with it. So that is your own reading, and I hope that's been beneficial for you, and I look forward to doing a reading for you again in the future.